Hello. Today, I will talk to you about Arcane Mages going into Phase 2 of TBC Classic. Now that we'll be ditching our worthless Tier 4 bonus and picking up the best T5 bonus of any class in the game, prepare to top the meters. I'll be discussing 3 topics in this video. What I believe to be best in slot gear in Phase 2, an update to my Arcane Mage mana regen math, and a spec change I believe will be better than the 40-0-21 spec I suggested in my previous video. First is best in slot gear. Under the assumption that fights will last 3.5 to 6 minutes each, with Kael'thas and Vashj being much longer than this, mana will continue to be an issue for Arcane Mages, as it always is, but much more so than the Karazhan bosses you may be used to. Due to this assumption of longer fights, Spirit will continue to be one of our best stats. On screen and in the description of this video will be the exact pieces you will want to go for in my opinion. With this gear set, you will have 400 Spirit and 700 Intellect unbuffed, with the other stats falling into place with hit being just over the 6% arcane cap and crit being in the high 20s. Tell your raid leader that you should have priority on your 2-piece tier 5 and priority on your 4-piece tier 5 since they are 25% more damage for you, and the tier 5 bonuses for hunters and warlocks are pretty shit. With the addition of Serpent Coil Braid to the loot table, both of your trinkets will now give you bonus mana when you consume your mana emerald and your mana potion for these longer fights, but sadly, not many off pieces will have spirit on them in Phase 2, so some of your Phase 1 pieces will carry over. Next, we will look at my improved Excel spreadsheet for mana regen. The link to the spreadsheet is in the description, and what is shown is a comparison between someone that focuses on spirit and someone that focuses on crit. Blue highlighted boxes are mana regen values related to the best in slot list I created with a focus on spirit, and the green boxes are related to a crit focus build. The yellow boxes are raid buffs and consumes that you should be using while raiding. What this boils down to is that with a Shadow Priest and a Resto Shaman in your group, you should be regenning 1,372 MP5 from buffs and 296 from your gear, resulting in you losing roughly 500 MP5 or 100 mana per second during the fight if you are solely spamming Arcane Blast. With a mana pool of roughly 16,000 and you evocating once per fight, that is 25,600 mana you will need to burn at 100 mana per second, resulting in you being able to last roughly 4.25 minutes by just solely spamming Arcane Blast. This assumes no movement, which is unrealistic, so you can expect lasting roughly 4.5 to 5 minutes on purely spamming Arcane Blast while dodging boss mechanics. As you can see from my compare tables, the difference of 125 spirit you pick up from gems, enchants, and off pieces with spirit results in you being able to spam Arcane Blast for 31.29% longer than a mage that just has spirit on a few of their T5 pieces. Since Arcane Blast does so much more damage than your filler spells like Arcane Missiles or Frostbolt, this 31.29% longer increased window of Arcane Blast spamming I believe is very much worth the investment into the few spirit pieces that I suggest. Additionally, on long downtime fights like Kael'thas, mana regen is even better because crit investment does nothing during these downtimes and mana regen will continue ticking. The last update I have for this video is a change in spec. I previously suggested a 40-0-21 spec, which worked by during your mana conservation windows, you would spam 3 Frostbolts and 3 Arcane Blasts, so that your first Arcane Blast is casted at a 1.5 seconds, but wouldn't use the higher mana cost because the debuff would fall off during your cast. I don't suggest this anymore because it takes too long to set up this interaction, and you have a very small window to start your Arcane Blast cast, or you will lose a ton of damage. Since this very small window is pretty much the whole reason for this rotation and can be easily messed up by boss mechanics or by any increase of haste on your character, I suggest going a new 47-0-14 spec. This spec ditches Frostbolts altogether and makes your filler spell a very simple Arcane Missiles spam. The benefits being that there is no more 1 second window that you need to cast Arcane Blast, the Arcane Missiles procs your 4-piece tier 5 more often, your Arcane Missiles procs a Paladin's Seal of Wisdom more often, and it benefits from your 10% arcane hit from your spec. The only downside to this is that you are now limited to a 30-yard range for both your Arcane Blast and Arcane Missiles, and you lose lose your second Icy Veins. The reason why the loss of your second Icy Veins isn't that big of an issue is because your second Icy Veins is not used in conjunction with your arcane power, so it is not very essential to do a ton of damage. Try out these suggested changes, and good luck in Phase 2. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks.